Hello everyone, and welcome to today's One Card Wonder Wednesday for September 19th, 2018. I hope you're all doing well. Today I use the beautiful Baubles stamp set and the detailed Baubles Thinlits or Framelits, I'm not sure which one they're called, that goes along with the stamp set. The beautiful Baubles stamp set is a set of 8, and it has these gorgeous detailed Christmas bulbs. So I thought this would make a beautiful card. So that is what I'm working on today. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a close-up of the card so you can see all the detail. I did some embossing with silver embossing powder, and I'm going to real quick just do one small piece for the card that I'm making to show you how I did that. Just in case you're not familiar with heat embossing. So I took the Deck the Halls stamp, and then you use your embossing buddy to go over your paper that you're going to be using, because that will take the static out of your paper or off from your paper, so you don't have as much extra powder sticking to your paper. Now I use the Versamark, which is a clear ink, and I make sure I ink it really well onto the stamp, and then you're just going to go ahead and stamp onto your paper that you already did the embossing powder on, and it's going to stick because the Versamark is very sticky. You're going to take your silver embossing powder and just shake it over the top to cover the paper, and then as you see where you stamped your Deck the Halls sentiment, that's where the embossing powder has stuck. And then after you've done that, you go ahead and use your heat tool, and that's going to melt the embossing powder. It'll take just a second to heat up all the way, but I'll hold it a little bit closer. Hopefully you can hear me over this. I'll stand up so maybe it's a little easier to hear, although it's a little hot on my hands. Whoops. So I'm just gonna, well, there I go. I just messed it up. That's all right. We're gonna melt what's left. And I'm going to hold it down with my scissors, which is normally what I do. I don't know why I didn't do that for the video. But then you go through and you just melt the embossing powder once your heat gun is all the way heated up. Luckily, I already have one made, so I don't have to use this raggedy one that I just ruined. I mean, it's not too bad, but you can see where some of the powder came off the word Halls. So anyway, that is just a quick for heat embossing. Now the next thing that I did was I stamped the image with all the gorgeous Christmas balls, and I used the same silver embossing powder. And then I cut it out using the stitched framelits, which I used. You could use just a circle if you have a larger circle punch, or a different circle framelit as well. And I used vellum, and I cut out one of the beautiful doily shapes using the detailed Baubles, because I think this is just a gorgeous little doily that you can get from that set, which I love it, absolutely love it. So I took a little bit of Tombow, and I just went around the inside edge of this doily because I want to glue it down to the circle. You could also go around the circle frame, you know, this white, whisper white if you want to, but I just found it easier just to go around this little edge. And then I just stick that onto your whisper white piece with the Christmas balls. And because it takes a few minutes for that to dry, and sometimes you have to set something on top of it, like a block or something heavy to hold it down, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set that aside and put a block over top of it. I went ahead and prepared one ahead of time that's already dried. It's kind of like a fancy cooking show, only it's fancy cards. And everything's already prepared. I have a piece of Smoky Slate for the base card. And the reason I chose Smoky Slate is because I love, it just reminds me of silver. I mean, it's just a beautiful tone to use with the silver embossing powder. So I took this piece and used my dimensionals, and normally when I do a circle I only do 3 dimensionals, but because this is a little bit larger, and with the extra vellum doily around it. I wanted to make sure it stayed in place really well, so I went ahead and put 5 around it. I just did kind of on each side and then 1 in the center. And then I'm going to put that toward, so the doily is toward the top of the card. The next step is using, of course, one of my favorite punches, we all know, the triple banner punch. And I have a piece of basic gray that is 4 1/4 inches long and 1 inch wide. And I'm just gonna put that through the banner punch, and I'm just gonna get just the edges of it off, just until it's through, just to get that little banner. I don't wanna put it all the way to the end because I want my banner to go across my card. So again, just until it's through, trim that little tiny piece off. And you have that one. Now on the 3/4 inch by 3 3/4 inch long piece that we emboss the Deck the Halls on, we're gonna do the exact same. I'm just gonna take the little bit at the end off because I want that one to remain longer as well. And you can cut your piece longer and then go all the way to the end if that's easier for you, but for me it's just a waste of paper if I want it this length anyway. So now that I've got that, I take my snail adhesive and I just go across, and I did 2 strips on this because I wanted to make sure it really stuck. And I kind of go underneath that little doily piece because I just want it to have a little bit of dimension, and that gives it that layer. Hi, Shannon. Then I use glue dots for this next step. After I use the Sprig punch, I use the Sprig punch, which is in the holiday catalog, and I cut out 2 of them using the silver foil sheets, and then I cut out 2 using the sparkle glimmer paper, which is great because our new glimmer paper does not leave glitter all over you. You can rub it all over and you have nothing left on your hands, so you're not taking glue with you or glitter with you everywhere you go. Now that I have those down, I just take one of these off and just put it in the center and just kind of angle it. And then I took one of the glimmer and did the exact opposite. And then I'll take the silver and go over top of that glimmer just to the edge of it, and then take the glimmer and then put it over this way. So you have, this one might need to come up a little bit because it's not going to fit in the envelope with it sticking off the edge of the card. There we go. And then just put the glimmer paper there. We already have the Deck the Halls on deck waiting to go onto the card. So I just put a dimensional at the end of that and in the center. Peel off the backing and then just put it right in the middle. It covers up where you attached your Sprig punches, but it still helps keep that dimension. You have a gorgeous silver and white Deck the Halls card for the holidays. I hope you enjoyed this. You can also, you know, if you wanted to add color, you could color these in with your regular Stampin' Right markers or alcohol markers just to add red and green or a turquoise and pink or whatever your color scheme is that you want to do. Personally, I just like the silver and white. I think it's timeless and gorgeous. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.